holiday season's here. Grabbed the Holiday Business Blueprint yet. I believe we snagged holidaybusinessblueprint.com. You know me, I'm always trying to make it easy for you, so you can just go straight there and pick it up. So who's nervous about selling? I've heard this from so many women over, I think this weekend especially. I had a couple of people reach out, and I normally don't respond on the weekends, but I felt like people needed to hear. Like, can we sell this year? You know, people are hurting still. Does anybody care? Who's gonna need my services? Lots of these types of questions coming in. So guys, I warned you, I sent out an email today because, and if you missed it, you can just grab your email. I just wanted to call your attention to today's Coffee with Coach because this is a big one. And much like the goal setting workshop we did last week, by the way, who was in that with me? Did you guys enjoy that workshop? I was really grateful for the feedback we got. Like, I got some of the nicest notes from you guys about that workshop. And if you didn't purchase it, you can purchase the replay and the workbook for 35 bucks. We'll get you that link, no big deal. But I thought I was really happy with how it went, and the feedback I've been getting is you guys really set some goals. I'm so happy about that. That's awesome. I think where we are is much like setting goals differently than we've ever set them before because of what we've learned this year and the illusions that have been stripped away this year. And this goes to selling, right? Because the number one thing I hear from all of you is, how do I sell right now? Or, and even before we had this crazy, weird experience that we had this year, we also had, how do I sell at all? Like, Sarah, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want people to think I started this business because I only care about money. And I totally get that. So I do want to go through 6, I'm going to call them declarations or commandments of selling today. The fear of selling. There's 2 fears I find. If you guys have bigger fears of selling, post them because we want to talk about them and dive into what's going on for you around them. But the first fear is that people will get mad at you. And that does happen. By the way, I do want you to know that. Like, I can give away everything for free. I do one sales email and people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, there's a business behind all the stuff, right? That's correct. And if it's not your people, they're not your people. That's okay. And what you want to do is understand that is part of the game you're playing, right? That is part of being in business, is sometimes people be annoyed. I mean, look at, all of the big companies you know who have really healthy profit margins and who are doing really well, do they or do they not have complaints, right? It's part of the job, you guys, and I don't want you to be afraid. Sometimes people are going to be annoyed. You cannot please everyone, and you won't. And by the way, everyone sometimes can mean your family, which is really annoying, or your friends when you're just starting out, right? And I understand some people are in that position. Sometimes people are going to get mad. That's okay. Your job is to not be afraid to do what you need to do to have the life you want. The other thing that people get afraid of is that people will think they're greedy. Okay, so there's the 2 fears. One is that some people are gonna get mad at you, like they're gonna be annoyed with you. And 2 is that they're gonna think you're greedy or salesy, that slimy sales thing. And listen, there's reasons for that because there's slimy salespeople out there. You cannot use the same tactics other people use and get the same results. It's just not possible. And that's why all those people who are like, I'll give you my sales series and you're gonna be $100 million. Like, first of all, you have to do the work behind those strategies, not tactics, strategies. You got to do the work behind them to really be big enough. We're going to get to that in some of the more declarations in just a minute, but you have to have done the work to enter those conversations with authenticity and confidence. And just copying what somebody else does isn't going to work. And we talked about this, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, Coffee with Coach. I was talking to you guys how people will sometimes copy the way I sell on stage and it will work. And that's not to dig on anybody by any means. You guys, you have to understand this is not magical. And this is why I hate those guys out there. And it's usually guys. There's a couple women too who are like, just follow my simple formula and you'll be. It's like, no, you can start, you can practice, you can understand what they're doing and break it apart. That's brilliant. And you should do that and you should study it. And then go be yourself inside of it. Do the work it takes. This is why I do personal development as much as I do professional development, because they go hand in hand. They just do. Declaration number 1 is I will not be afraid of selling. Deal? Now, number 2 is one you've heard before. Okay, but I want you to take it to heart anyway, especially now, is really get a handle on your why. Get a handle on why you are growing the business the way you're growing the business. Now, heart-centered businesses, amazing. right? Amazing. There are so many of us out here to like change the world, to make other people's lives better. I hope you guys feel that we do that in here, that we are here for you, that you are going out in the world and doing your thing, right? Because we're here to support you. Awesome. And then you are doing that for other people, right? Your talent, your experience, your expertise is put in place to help you go support other people. Fan-freaking-tastic. That's what we're here to do. You need to get in touch with that why. But the deeper why I want you to get in touch with is why you want to make the money. Because that will help alleviate your need to hide behind the fear of being salesy. Let me say that another way. That wasn't as eloquent as it was in my head. So what I want to do is have you recognize how authentic and real and from the heart your desire to make a living doing this, and then obviously get wealthy doing this, probably comes from a really great place. Okay? It doesn't come from a sleazy place. You guys know inside the Game On Girlfriend membership, I am setting some goals for us, and when we hit certain milestones of revenue in the business, we're going to look at which charities we want to give those to, right? Like, let's play this game. We're going to play this game. Let's freaking play this game, right? And then it makes it like not hard at all for me to go sell the membership because one, I know what's in it, but two, I know we're helping the world be a better place. And that attachment to the why, like really getting profoundly related to the why is, yeah, you need money to live for sure. But there's more to it than that for you, isn't there? I know some people are like, I've got to get out of this marriage. Other people are like, I've got to make a difference in my kids' schools. Other people really want to make a difference inside of causes that matter to them. And other people really want to make sure that their children or their families or their parents, I mean, taking care of aging parents is not inexpensive. These are incredible goals for money. Don't be afraid of them. And if you are solid in that why, you're not going to be salesy. You're not going to be out there trying to be like, hey, give me a money. Like, that's not even going to be in your space. So it won't enter your conversation. So you can kind of alleviate that fear a little bit. I'm just going to grab a couple of comments. Your fear is that people are going to be annoyed. Listen, it's going to happen. They will be sometimes. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about is actually declaration number 3. This is really part of that fear of like them getting annoyed is one, when you're profoundly related to your why and you're like related to why you want to make money, it's not as scary. We're going to go to declaration number 3, adding massive value. I will add massive value. All right. So declaration number 1 was I won't be afraid of selling. Number 2 was I will know my why. And number 3 is I will add massive value. The massive value that you're going to add, it comes from you. It doesn't come from following some formula or doing what everybody else is doing, right? I've told you guys from day one, break your industry. Break it. Do something no one else has done before. Go get it, right? Like that's the energy behind this. And that could be anything from the extra flowers you bring when you decorate somebody's home, right? Those little tiny things with a note from you about how important it is that people feel that their home is beautiful and why you do what you do and you're so happy you got to work with them. A thank you note from you can't be like anybody else's. If there's something else you love, share that. It's a Wonderful Life, right? When they're helping everybody into their homes, it's salt, bread, and wine, and the story behind that, right? That's massive value because it's not just about the bread and the salt and the wine. It's about the experience. That's really what people are after inside this year is experience, not so much stuff. Even if you sell stuff, like those of you who have product-based businesses, how do you want people to feel the first time they touch your product? How do you want people to feel when they open the box that gets delivered to them? How do you want people to feel every time they get an email from you? Are they excited or they're like, ugh, this lady again? And you really want to watch that. Now listen, sometimes you're going to piss people off. That's cool. It's part of the game, not personal to you. Especially if you're adding massive value, you can sort of go to bed with a clean conscience every night. And that also, the flip side of adding massive value is that you fire clients or customers when needed. And I'm very serious about this. I know it can be scary, those of you just starting out, or even if you've been in your business for a while. Firing clients is one of the smartest things you can do when it's a bad fit. The refund button is your best friend when it's a bad fit. Okay, because the torment and torture you'll put yourself through is so much worse than that weird feeling of like, I don't think we're the best fit and having to have that conversation. But think about how much you'll grow if you have that conversation. And then the next time you need to have it, one, you'll recognize a client that's not a great fit faster for the next time. You'll be able to have the conversation if you didn't see the client soon enough. They've actually signed on. You're like, uh-oh. You know now you've done it before and you don't have anything to be afraid of. Adding massive value actually has people want to hear from you. So it's like, oh, what'd she say? What'd she say? I gotta go get that. Think about when your favorite author releases their next book. You like cannot wait to go get it. Or when your favorite person's gonna speak somewhere, you're like, oh my gosh, come hell or high water, I'm gonna be there. Or when your favorite makeup line comes out with a new lipstick, you're like, oh hell yeah. That's what can happen. And that's where we want to be. Declaration number 4, which is, I will not expect everyone to like me. It's tough. This is the hardest one for me. I really have a hard time with that when people are like, ugh, Sarah Walton. I'm like, right? It's like, oh man, come on. And then I have to remember people hate Oprah. It's like, okay, cool. They can hate me. It's fine. Like I haven't done hundreds of bazillions of a tiny little iota of what that woman's done. Like they can hate me. It's cool. It's really understanding that overall 2% of people are kind of just awful. And I hate to say that because you know how much I love people, but we also got to be honest, right? 2% of people suck. They just do. They're like mean, bad people who are out to piss off everybody else. If you guys been listening to the podcast and I'm calling on people to like, we're the grown-ups, like let's step up in this world of blame and craziness. And every time I say that, or I'm having to like deal with something in our town or our community, or even online in larger groups that I'm a part of with my mentors and colleagues, is I'll always say, you guys, most people don't wake up and think, oh, how can I be a complete asshole today? How can I ruin everybody's day that I run into? Most people don't wake up and say that. And you might be thinking of someone who's like, I think this guy does, or that girl does, right? And that's the 2%. There might be people who wake up and go, who can I ruffle today? They like get off on it. Don't be with those people. We can talk about the fact that hurt people. I got it. I know. And they weren't born that way. They got built that way. Totally agree with that. And it's not our job to fix everyone. So if somebody doesn't like you, they don't like you. I know, I hear it too, and I'm like, ow, right? But they don't, it's cool. Keep on your mission. Just dive down and create. Don't worry about that. Expect it, in fact, and not like in a secret, oh, I expect people to, not like that, but just expect it. So when it happens, you go, oh, there it is, okay, next, and get back to creating because it's gonna happen. And some of you hold yourselves back because of it. Do you know how much energy that sucks from you? How much focus that is? And it's all ego driven and it just pulls you right over here like, oh, everybody has to like me, everybody. Meanwhile, all of the people you could serve are over here waiting for you. It's true, and we all do it. That's why I share with you guys. I've been in the trenches, I got it. Right, so not everybody's gonna like you and 2% of people suck. Don't take it personally, let it go. I hope 2% is a high estimate because you know me, I love people and I truly believe everyone has something to offer, but that doesn't mean you have to like what they have to offer. How many times you guys have seen people in my industry and you're like, ugh, not my person. Meanwhile, I know they're out there doing the best they can. They're probably making mistakes and they're definitely not perfect. None of us are. But does that mean they should stop doing what they're doing because you don't like them? Probably not. And that's the other thing is our opinions aren't the end of the world either. We don't get to dictate who's out there and who's not either. So declaration number 5 is I will always ask for permission. Now, this is one of my favorites. And if you hear nothing else from today, I hope you take this, is always ask. Did you get a lot of value out of this today? Is there more I could have given you today? Did you get what you were expecting today? Those kinds of questions go so far because then you can say, would you be interested in? But you got to ask. Don't demand, right? And you guys know in my emails, I'll be joking. I'm like, girl, get in here. But that's my personality. And I only say it after I've added tremendous value, I hope, right? That I've added value, that we've worked through stuff. And then I'll be like, girlfriend, what you doing? Get in here. But that's in a playful way. It's not a demanding way. You gotta earn the right to play. And you also need to make sure you're asking permission before you sell. So you have to add the value first, right? Like we've said, I will add massive value. You have to do that first. And then you can move on to ask permission to sell. Would you like me to send you a proposal? I would love to work with you. I think there's something really cool here. Would it be okay if I send you my pricing sheet? Would you be interested in hearing my speaker's fees? Would you like to know what it's like to work with me? And then this last one is, I love this one because you guys know I never want you to feel uncomfortable or taken advantage of. So this one is I will take a stand, meaning you know what your prices are. You know who you want to work with and you know the value of what you're selling and you will stand by it and you will stand by your work. You will stand by your word and you will stand by your pricing and you will stand by your clients and customers, that you will be there for them, that you will answer their questions, that you will honor their experience from start to finish. Those of you in the membership, we went into that in great detail last month, right? Like start to finish. So those are the 6 declarations. Declaration number 1, my beautiful girlfriends, is I will not be afraid of selling. Number 2, I will know my why. And it's not just why you started your business, it's why you want the money, because that will have you see what a great person you are and you're not a greedy jackwagon. Declaration number 3, I will add massive value. Declaration number 4, I will not expect everyone to like me. Declaration number 5, I will always ask for permission. And declaration number 6, I will take a stand. That's what I've got for you guys today because I want this holiday season to be amazing for you. Like I said, if you haven't picked up the Holiday Business Blueprint, it's free. It's totally free. But that's free. Go get it if you don't have it yet, and actually map this out for yourself, because I don't want you flailing through the rest of the holiday season. It's really important. This is going to be the biggest online holiday season we've ever seen, and I want to make sure you feel confident going into it.